For this video, I'm going to talk about the Uber driver requirements and Lyft driver requirements for San Diego. Starting off with Uber first, as you can see for the minimum driver age, you must be at least 21 years or older and hold a valid driver's license. This, I will say, is a bit unfortunate. Let's say you're in college, you're 18, 19, or 20. Unfortunately, you can't drive for Uber, but you can do Uber Eats. So I will say that let's say if you're looking for a flexible job like Uber or Lyft or whatever, you might have to start with Uber Eats or doing delivery driving and then move to rideshare driving. Then you need these document requirements. As you can imagine, valid driver's license, proof of work eligibility, SSN number, proof of vehicle registration, proof of vehicle insurance, and then a driver profile photo. When it comes to the registration and insurance, remember you can rent a car through Uber, so that is an option. In addition, they will run a background check. That is something to keep in mind, that not only will it be a criminal background check, but a driver's background check. So if you have a bunch of things on your driver's record, keep in mind they will see that, and it's up to Uber's discretion, so keep that in mind. Next, let's go to the vehicle requirements, because of course, like I said, you do have to have a vehicle to drive. And remember, not only, like say, if you don't have a car, you can rent a car, but let's say if you do have a car, but it doesn't fit these requirements, you can still rent one as well, right? So looking here, you need a 15-year-old vehicle or newer, 4 doors, good condition with no cosmetic damage, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and they will do a vehicle inspection. So let's say if your car is not up to code when it comes to the inspection, let's say there's a few things wrong with it, it could fail that inspection, and you cannot drive for Uber. Now this is a new thing I've actually seen on the Uber site, where they're talking about cosmetic guidelines, because this is kind of vague. Good condition with no cosmetic damage. This is something they recently just added in, not just for San Diego, but seems like everywhere when it comes to this, that these cosmetic features may prevent vehicles from qualifying. So full body wraps containing advertisements. I know it's gotten more popular to have rideshare drivers have like ads on their car. As you can see now, they're saying, look, you can't have these holes in the exterior, taxi decals, aftermarket or manufacturer paint jobs and decals, significant damage to the interior. So let's say if the inside of your car looks bad, it won't pass, unfortunately. Paint oxidation, different color hoods and doors, and aftermarket modifications. So just kind of briefly going over these, if your car just in general doesn't fit these cosmetic guidelines, it might be rejected. Again, all of these things you do have to keep in mind. I will say it does depend on the person. Like when I got my car inspected, they were pretty relaxed about it. Other places may be a lot more strict. So this is kind of up to the discretion of the person reviewing your car and everything as a whole. Now going to Lyft, and I gotta be honest, when it comes to Lyft, they're more strict than Uber, for better or for worse. Starting off with the driver requirements, all the same as Uber, being honest, a valid driver's license, you need a background check and everything. Here's the big kicker though when it comes to Lyft, you need to be 25 years or older. So let's say if you do want to drive, let's say you just graduated college or whatever your situation is, and let's say you're 21, you can drive for Uber, but not for Lyft. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is a bit of a high age. I don't know why the Lyft driver age is this high. In addition, you do need a 1 year of driving experience. I'm assuming, I mean, you never know, but for most people, if you're 25, you probably already have at least 1 year of driving experience, but they do mention this as well. Now going to the vehicle requirements, again, pretty standard and similar to Uber, 2009 or newer. So in this case, at the time of this video, you're looking about 15 years old or newer, 4 doors, 5 to 8 seats, including the driver's, California license plate, and not on the list of ineligible subcompact vehicles. Now when it comes to 5 to 8 seats, this is, let's say if you want to do Lyft or Lyft XL. As you can imagine, there are a bunch of different types of rides for both Lyft and Uber. So for example, if I go back to Uber, when it comes to the vehicle requirements, you can see this is Uber X, which is the typical ride, by the way. Then you have Uber XL, so let's say a bigger vehicle, Uber Black, and these kind of luxury options in terms of black SUV, etc., etc. And then lastly, when it comes to the document requirements, now going back to Lyft, of course, you need vehicle insurance. I do suggest getting rideshare insurance. This is both for Lyft and Uber, or pretty much any ride-sharing company. You need a photo and a vehicle inspection. I will say as well, you can use one inspection for Lyft and Uber for the other. So I got my car inspected for Uber, they approved it, and then I submitted that same exact document, even though it said Uber on it, submitted it to Lyft, and Lyft accepted it. Now, one last thing I want to say on this video, which I don't typically do for these requirement videos when it comes to cities, is this. I was doing some research for some of my videos, And I Googled, as you can see, what is or in general, most popular places to drive for Lyft, out of curiosity. And they said this popped up right away. Where do Lyft drivers make the most money? San Diego, on average, at about $21.73 per hour. That's pretty ridiculous. And going now to that article on Yahoo, as you can see, for San Diego, $21.73 per hour on average. If you're looking to become an Uber or Lyft driver in San Diego, prepare for some of the highest earnings across U.S., as this city's average pay falls at $21.73 per hour. However, according to pay scale, as you can see here, living in San Diego is 47%, and I know people who live in San Diego, it can be kind of pricey. Living in San Diego is 47% more costly than the nationwide average. This, they kind of go on to talk about the sunshine tax because you're living in a beach city, et cetera, et cetera. I live in LA. It's very expensive here in LA, and I've heard that San Diego especially has gotten even more expensive because for a lot of people, like say, looking to buy real estate or whatever, LA is stupidly overpriced. It's ridiculous how expensive it is here in LA. However, for San Diego, it's like, well, you get a lot of the same beach benefits as San Diego. In my opinion, I think San Diego is a bit of a cleaner city than LA, and it's a bit cheaper, but now things are getting more expensive. So that is something to keep in mind, but I'm assuming if you are watching this video, you already do live in San Diego, so you're kind of used to that. But get ready, because if you are planning on driving, and I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you are planning on driving, you can make, as it says here, the most amount of money almost compared to any other city in the United States. And lastly, to finish off this video, in case you didn't know, the number one factor that determines how much money you can make as a driver is your location. And if you're planning on driving in San Diego, it's looking pretty good.